EIC. Okay. Welcome back. It's the CWU Student Media Podcast after spring break. We are back for spring quarter. There's a new issue of The Observer. There's a new issue of Pulse. Newswatch will be putting stuff out soon, so we figured it's time to get started. Abby, thank you for being here today. You are the new EIC. I'm here with Abby Duchow, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I almost already forgot. Abby, how is your new position at Observer going so far?
It's actually great. It's always a bummer that, because of COVID and everything, we're still virtual. So that's been really interesting, but yeah, a bummer. But it's been going really good so far. We have a great staff this quarter, and I'm really excited for everything that we're putting out this quarter, including this recent issue. Yeah, it's been going great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'm sure I speak for everybody. I've said this so many times, but like, if you would have told me, hey, spring quarter 2021, everything's still going to be on Zoom, it's still going to be online, I would have been like, oh, that's not how I expected this to go.
Yeah,
But
tell me you're joking.
yeah, no. And, I'm very curious to see what they'll be doing by next fall. I think it could go either way at this point, but yeah. And as a student journalist, how has this experience made your college experience unique? Like a lot of people have different challenges they're facing, but our major is one that is very different looking when it's all online. What's your experience looking like in the COVID era?
It's been interesting because my first quarter with the Observer was the last quarter that we had in person. So I got like just a little taste of what that's like before, everything changed. So, it's been kind of like sad, but it's been really interesting seeing how we've been able to adapt to being completely virtual and putting out, as good of a product as before, if not even better. So yeah, there have been some like little trials and tribulations here and there, but it hasn't been terrible. It's been really interesting seeing how, we've been able to overcome it basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really can't believe these people that in the program have done such a good job. Like I really didn't expect them, of course in the beginning we didn't think it was going to be this long, but I didn't expect them to say, okay, you're going to do your stories from home now, or you're going to be, I kind of just thought they would shut it all down for a while. But the fact that we still have student journalists going, to the lengths that they're going to make this possible still, it's amazing. And I can't say it enough. That's mostly what this whole podcast is about, is me just talking about how great you guys are. But and I think student media is very important, especially for Kittitas County. What does the Observer position that the editor-in-chief position call for, do you think? I know you weren't the editor-in-chief during like the normal times of not quarantine COVID times, but what does the position call for now that you think is unique that maybe an editor-in-chief that was during the normal times wouldn't ever have had to deal with?
I think maybe the main thing is it's very easy to communicate with people when we're all in one classroom and we all have times that we're seeing each other in person. It's a lot easier now to just get a text asking about something and just, rub it off or something and just be like, I don't, brush it off is the phrase. I don't want to reply to this right now. So something that really it calls for now is being responsive on your phone, on your computer. Just like being communicative is very important, and that's completely changed since we're virtual. And it's definitely a bit harder now, in my opinion, to really like want to communicate with people, not only just because it's all virtual and you have to take the time to type it out most of the time, but also because, we're already also isolated. So that makes you maybe even like not want to talk to people more, if you get what I mean.
I totally get what you mean.
So yeah, I think that's maybe the main change that you really have to be aware of if you want to be like EIC now.
Absolutely. I know that, I've spoken with the various student media like leaders on this podcast, and all of them are facing those kinds of problems, whether it's Newswatch, Pulse, or Observer, like getting people together is hard enough. But when you're like virtually trying to get people together, it's almost like there's just that element of like seriousness. Like when you're in a room with a bunch of people, you're kind of forced to take it seriously because everybody's got their eyes on you and you're like, oh, I need to like, even if you're not really interested. But it's like when you get virtual, as soon as you get that virtual, it just removes the whole like I'm butchering this. What I'm trying to say is like,
Obligation, kind of.
yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're not like totally interested, you don't have to like fake it anymore. So
Mhm.
it's like as a person in a leadership position, it can be hard to pull all those people together, especially when you can't physically have everybody in one place and you know, everybody has their own things going on. And yeah, I know how hard it's got to be for you right now.
Yeah. The scheduling's crazy too, since everyone has like so many different things, plus like trying to figure out virtual meetings. It's made it like bittersweet in a way. Like it's harder, but it's also easier.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I'm very curious to see what's gonna stay as like a permanent new normal and what's going to go back because I think a lot of people have realized there's so many things we are calling people together for that aren't necessary. Like, especially if you travel to campus or something like that. Like I used to have to like ride my bike like a mile and a half to get to campus like my last couple years. And now it's like, oh, a lot of those things we were meeting for could have been done on Zoom in like 10 minutes. So
Yeah, I know we have actually like cut maybe even a couple meetings at this point and just combine them into one meeting because it's like, why are we getting everyone on Zoom when this could just be one big meeting and then we could communicate via like email or text? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, last quarter I had to lead a Zoom meeting. Like I was never the one like in charge of the meeting before. This is like my first time, and it was with like a bunch of student media people about just like talking about the podcast and stuff. And I was like, this is so much harder than like leading a meeting in person because like I don't know, it feels like you're talking to nobody, but then you
Mhm.
remember like, oh, there's a lot of people listening to me right now, and it's like it's a different type of anxious, you know.
Yeah.
But enough about Zoom. I want to hear about the new issue of the Observer. You've got one issue out so far. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so we wrote some stories, or our news editor Mitchell wrote a story about ASCWU frustrated with, you know, the lack of care from professors during this unprecedented time, is what we like to call it.
I did see that. I thought that was a great article.
Hmm.
Nice job, Mitchell.
Yeah, shout out to Mitchell.
He's
Um,
great.
yeah, so that was something that was really interesting, and I think the graphic that we put with it was really cool too. It was kind of funny, but also like another kind of bittersweet thing.
Yeah, it was
Um,
like a political cartoon, which is kind of a new thing. I haven't seen a lot of those in the Observer.
yeah, we actually, I think we've kind of avoided them a little bit in the past, and now I like making use of those. I think they really like capture attention, and they really get across what the story is about.
They do.
And then we also did some stuff about there was a story about TikTok and how it's like launching small businesses and like getting them off the ground and getting them more customers than ever. So that was pretty interesting. TikTok's like huge now. We actually,
It's crazy.
in light of that article, I think we made a TikTok account. Not I think, we did make a TikTok
The
account.
Observer has a TikTok account.
Yeah, the Observer has a TikTok account
Is
now.
it just CWU Observer? Shout it out real quick so people.
Yeah, CWU Observer. It's on TikTok. Follow us. Get some news on your favorite platform.
Real hard TikTok journalism, folks. That's what we're
Mhm.
talking about here.
Yeah, so that's one of that was one of my favorite articles and one of my favorite new things about the Observer. And yeah, we did some stuff about the CARES money that students are getting, some sports stuff. If you didn't read it already, the football team has had a COVID-free streak for quite a while now.
Mhm.
And yeah, just covering all sorts of good stuff. And in the new issue, we're going to be covering even more good stuff.
As per usual, you know, I think you guys, you know, are extremely consistent given the fact that you guys are like completely new staff every quarter. Like the Observer's, you know, been such a consistent newspaper, you know, and just the fact that it's a student run completely, you know, university journalism newspaper, it's very impressive. And the new issue is great. I recommend everybody pick it up. um the political cartoon thing was cool because, you know, it's a little bit hard in a school like Central where it's a very diverse crowd of people and a lot of people's politics are different. And so I can see why you've avoided it in the past, but this is one thing everyone can relate to. And that's, you know, I'm sure the entire student body can agree. Like we've all had to, in the last year, talk to one of our professors and just be like, I
Hey
can't
man,
do this right
do
now, man.
this.
Like you
Yeah,
understand what's happening. You know, either I have to work, I'm an essential worker, or my family member has COVID, or there's a laundry list of things that we've had to talk to our professors about. And I think everybody can get behind that. And then, but yeah, the Observer's doing fantastic. I understand you actually wrote a review in this first issue. Are you doing a lot of writing this quarter, do you think?
Um, I'm hoping to do some writing. We have a really big staff this quarter as far as like the staff reporters that are enrolled in the class. So, you know, already we're kind of like busting at the seams, fitting all of the stories that we have from staff reporters and the editors and stuff in the paper. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to keep writing. I really like writing reviews and so those will probably keep showing up from me.
I do too. I really like reviewing like music and things, but I understand you reviewed a show. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I reviewed Neon Genesis Evangelion, and it's an anime. It's available on Netflix, actually. It's really cool. It's really like it's a combination of like psychological and action that I think people can really get into. And yeah, if you want to know more, you should read my review. It's on you know, the CWUobserver.com, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, go check that out, guys, on the website. Or if you happen to be around campus, there's physical copies you can pick up all over the place. Well, I'm guessing you gave it a pretty good review if you were willing to take the time to review it, but I don't want to spoil anything
For
here.
sure. Yeah.
Well,
It's got
that's
a
good.
little bit of spoilers, but it's not too much where you won't want to watch it.
I'll make sure that I watch it by the next time you're on the podcast, and then we can discuss it a little bit.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. I hope so. Well, you know, Abby, I think that it sounds like Observer's running extremely smoothly, and you know, it's not hard. That first issue, getting that out under a new EIC, and you've got a lot of pressure on you. I know that's got to be tough, but it must feel good to have the first issue out, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of like nerding out over it the other day. Just like, I'm so happy to have it out. I'm really excited for it.
What do you want to do? Are you a print major, broadcast major?
I am actually a public relations major and
Mm,
sociology minor.
that's awesome.
So, yeah, I don't really know where exactly that's going right now. I know I'm super into journalism, but you know, every day I kind of change my mind on what exactly I want to pursue.
I'm right there with you. I feel the exact same way. It just depends on what side of the bed I wake up on and a dozen other things.
Exactly.
But yeah, well, you're doing a great job. How did you get this? Was it offered to you, or was it something you thought about and were like, I kind of want to do that. I think I'll try out for it. Or how did this come to be?
Yeah, so when I started with the Observer, I thought that it was just going to be a 1 quarter thing. It's just an elective basically for media credits for the PR degree. And you know, I was just like, I'm just sticking around for this 1 quarter and then I'm out of here. But I ended up really liking it actually. And so that quarter, which was last winter, I kind of just decided, like, you know, by the end of my time at Central, which this is my last quarter, I really want to be EIC. So I've tried for a couple quarters and I finally got it.
That's awesome. Well,
Mhm.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And also congratulations on making it to the end, man. It's not easy, and well, it's certainly not easy, and it's something a lot of people never get to. It's taken me a long time to get there, so congrats.
Thanks. It's been crazy.
So thank you very much, Abby, for being on here today. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Shout out some social media pages or anything like that.
Yeah, follow us on pretty much everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look up CW Observer. Our next issue will be coming out on the 14th, so look forward to that. Newsstands are all across campus, and there's some throughout town. And yeah, just check us out. It'll be worth your time.
I agree. Go check them out, guys. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. We're going to be doing one guest only from here on out, so that it is a little bit shorter. and it's going to be every 2 weeks this quarter. So we'll be back in 2 weeks discussing the new issue of Pulse. We've already discussed it a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff jam-packed in there. We're going to have some other student journalists on to discuss what they wrote about. Thank you, Abby, for being on today on behalf of the Observer. You guys are doing fantastic, and I'm just happy that the first issue's out and everything is running smoothly.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. We'll see you guys next week.